Before I begin, I have to admit that today feels a bit like a homecoming for me. If I look familiar, it's because I worshiped with you about 10 years ago in the summer of 2013 while I was home from seminary and I was working, I was doing my clinical pastoral education at University of Colorado Health Anschutz Hospital. It's good to be with you in this space now. I know that much has changed for you in the last 10, almost 11 years. And yet, the warm welcome that you all provide, the inclusive welcome that I was so drawn to back in 2013, remains the same. This morning, we get a couple of call stories of prophets and disciples. I love that this always tends to fall right around Martin Luther King Jr. weekend. And I also lament it as well. We're very clear about MLK Jr.'s sense of call to justice and peace. Something that I didn't know about MLK was that he also called for peace and an end to the Vietnam War. Beyond his work for racial justice, he saw an inclusive, a world where peace had a place. And we know we can connect that back to his faith. I said that I also lament that these call stories also tend to fall on this weekend because I think it limits our imagination about who is called. Are you called? Often we think about call in terms of call processes, call committees, installing a pastor or a deacon. Where was your call process? Who was on your call committee? We can often limit ourselves to say, I am no prophet, I am no apostle, I am no Martin Luther King Jr. We may sound a bit like Nathaniel. Rather than saying, can anything good come from Nazareth? We may be tempted to say, can anything good come from me? God says yes. Jesus says yes. But doubt about who we are is not new. Self-constructed barriers to knowing who Jesus is, to being in community focused on following Jesus, are not new either. Philip counters Nathanael with 3 words: come and see. He knows that there are no words that can convince Nathanael of who Jesus is. He needs to experience Jesus. There are many times and places and things, experiences that can only be known by experiencing them. There are no words. We cannot describe it. It simply must be seen or heard or known for yourself. Come and see. Come and hear. I wonder about these words for us. Do the words come and see generate for you a sense of wonder, of curiosity, maybe gratitude that someone thought to include you? Who asked you to come and see? Jesus, of course, but also of community. Who said, come and see what is going on at Well of Hope? this little community that is trying something new. Come and see. We also know that there are not just beautiful things, exciting things, and wonderful things that cannot be described but only experienced. We also know that that is true about destruction and decay and desolation. That it's so bad that we can't imagine. We have to see it with our own eyes. We have to hear about it for ourselves. Come and see is not about head knowledge, but of witness, about invitation. It is about seeing and knowing that leads to our ability to follow. That comes next week. So I hope that Pastor Nick picks up on that and unpacks what it means to actually follow. Because I think that when we see, when we hear, and when we know who Jesus is and who we are, that leads us to hope. And I think that hope is necessary because while we live in a world that is full of undescribable beauty, we also know that we live in a world of undescribable destruction. The hope in this come and see is that reminder again and again that God will raise up faithfulness in the debris of human unfaithfulness. As a group of people, the church, we tend to cling to the husks, the outlines of things that are long dead. And so this news that God will raise up faithfulness in the debris of whatever we encounter, that is good news. There is a new generation coming. As we hear about Samuel in our first reading, there are ones that will come behind us, come after us. And God will not let God's words fall to the ground. The best days of God's people are not behind us, not with Jesus or his disciples, the apostles, not with Martin Luther and the Reformation, not with Martin Luther King Jr. and the fight for civil rights. It continues on with us. The best days of God's people are not behind us. No, the best is still yet to come. With more prophets, more healing, more inclusion, more redemption of this world. To do so means that we will be known for our hope. So yes, we will follow at some point, but to this week, we come and we see. We see the truth about who God has called us to be, more than sinners, but saints as well. More than just mere participants in the life of the church, but disciples. That comes next week. That comes next week. This week, come and see. Come and hear. Come and taste. Come and know in all of your various senses that you are loved by God. Let that seep into every part of who you are, into your bones and every sinew of your body. Let that knowledge of love, that experience of love, be an illumination for your week, your day, and your spiritual journey. Thanks be to God. Amen.
Amen.